Welcome to the October 16th meeting of the New Hampshire Environment Working Group. And I'm going to turn on AI Companion. Meredith had a question. Could you reiterate it really quickly, Meredith, for the recording? And then I think Susan already had an answer.
Mm. Sharing best practices about being an effective energy committee member at the local level.
So I do have a kind of little answer, but I raised my hand because I had a question. My little answer is because I work on a trash advisory committee in my town, we have a weekly column, advice column, and it occurs to me it would be nice if the energy committee did something like that, and that would also make you better known to the citizens with whatever advice you have. Um, and then I'm going to ask for advice from everyone else after
So
you've answered.
what weekly column, like where does this column appear?
Okay. Well, we have a town newsletter online every week, but I think a lot of towns may have some either in print or more likely these days electronic newsletter, or if not, start one up. Right.
Mm.
We do have one. It's online, but it's not every week. It's like kind of slightly random. It's more like every month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, depending. So
Well, yeah, so our town manager pretty much gets it out every week, which is a good way to warn people about things that are coming ahead of time before they freak out when they happen. Um, and then we have, the news of what's going on in the library, what's going on in the school district, and we have a really incredibly dedicated person who researches a topic every week on garbage or plastics or composting. But I imagine you could do something similar with
yeah,
energy.
yeah, great. Thank you.
Well, glad I could help.
I can offer something because I'm chair of the Sandwich Energy Committee and have been for several years. And it takes a while for a new energy committee member to find their niche in with the committee. Um, I would say keep telling your chair you're available to help. Are there any projects?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know about.
Rose. She's really frozen. I guess maybe we could, if anybody has any other comments, we'll come back when Catherine thaws out.
Yeah, I could chime in real quick. This is actually my first time on, so glad to meet everybody. I'm a city councilor over in Keene, and I'm a rep on the Energy and Climate Committee here. So one of the things that really helps keep our members kind of moving forward is just having a really well-defined energy plan that came from the city council a number of years ago. And so we set forth like an action plan of what we wanted the energy and climate community to go do. Like one of those things was rolling out the community power plan and keeping that updated whenever the renewal cycle comes up. So that's actually what we spent a good chunk of the earlier part of the year doing. But it also calls out looking for EV and solar guidelines. And really, how do we kind of push forward transportation sectors and stuff like that? And so we have a really good built out action plan that kind of helps keeping us moving forward. And then we've also split into different working groups, not subcommittees, very explicitly, not subcommittees, but just working groups that kind of focus on different areas that the committee wants to focus on. So we have a policy work group, which is actually part of why I'm here to kind of connect with the groups about everything that's kind of going on in the state. But we've got one on sustainability and one on community outreach, and those kind of help give each of the members a little bit of direction for things that they should be working on.
Great. Is your community power plan publicly available?
Yeah. If you just Google Keene Community Power, there's a dedicated website for it, and I believe either I think it's at the end of this week, we'll actually be doing a bunch of updates to reflect the new plan that we just negotiated and is going live in December.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll try and actually find the link quick, and I can put it in the chat for you, Meredith.
Thanks so much.
Catherine, you froze, so we moved the conversation on, but do you want to come back and finish your thought, Catherine?
Anytime it's windy out, we live on the dead end in the middle of nowhere, so I get bumped off. But no, just the last part that I was just finishing a sentence saying that once you feel comfortable or something really comes out at you that, ooh, that sounds like an interesting thing to help.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Ken, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I just got an email yesterday. The NHDS, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, they're looking for comment on the 10-year plan. And I just took a quick look at it. It's a really far scoping thing. I was trying to study it. So one thing I might suggest is perhaps we could get some folks together in a bit of a workshop on how to comment on this 10-year plan. I guess the comments are close November 15th. So that might give us some time to kind of deliberate rather than each, sort of individual trying to figure out this 10-year plan on our own. Maybe a workshop, might be beneficial.
A great thought.
When's the deadline for the comments? Did you know offhand?
4 p.m. November 15th. Only
Okay,
written
so it's pretty
comments
soon.
accepted.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Susan, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute, Susan.
You're still on mute, Susan.
Weimar Seidler, who's on our steering committee, is just emailed Kurt. I don't know if I can say his last name right, Jungling of DES today to see if New Hampshire Network can schedule our own meeting that they'll set up. And so I don't know if they would walk us through and explain, and we could have each other to knock things against. But I don't know if that's happening or when. I just know that the email went out. And October 30th, West Lebanon is having one. And if you look at on our website, there's a section called Weekly Updates or Weekly News, and the latest edition has an article with a letter from Lee Oxenham, a former state rep, telling when and where that meeting is on October 30th in West Lebanon. So that's a definite, but there might be a New Hampshire Network one that we'll try and do around November 1st or so. Which is not to mean that there shouldn't be a discussion within this group, but at least that's one approach for it.
I spoke with Lee. So I'm also with Sierra Club, and Lee suggested that Kurt was interested in having they're doing the presentation at the meeting on the 30th, and that there may be an opportunity if we, like at Sierra Club, wanted to help schedule another meeting, the same presentation team would come to that. And so I was actually going to talk to Ken, who's in Sierra Club also, if he might want to host something in Londonderry, because the one in the Upper Valley is, Lee has a lot of contacts to invite groups to come in and make their public comments. And so anyone else who, maybe could get others to come in and make they'll do the presentation, and then members of the public, groups, whatever, could make comments at that point. It's a short time frame, but it is a way I think they've broken it up into the different subject areas of the climate report. And so it may be easier to focus on one or another that you have expertise in.
Or earlier meetings they had breakout rooms for whichever subgroup you wanted. But as there are events, let Mary Beth know, let the network know, and we publicize them in that weekly newsletter, which I have no idea if people read, but There it is as a resource.
Yeah, Lee said that because she knew a lot of the people in the groups and stuff there, she asked them, well, are you planning on meetings? And they're like, oh, I don't know. My interpretation of what she said is that they said, oh, we'll release it to the public, but they hadn't really planned on it. But now they're sort of gathering themselves and ready to have meetings. And so other venues would be welcome, from what I understand. But we are going to try to investigate if we could get anyone else. And the hosting is basically getting your local library to, finding the time. And if it works for them to come, then, it's not that complicated from what Lee said. So,
Okay. Well, we'll the New Hampshire Network will advertise any events that you send us. Well, Meredith, I don't know that you got.
Fine. Yeah, no, I got some great suggestions. Thanks so much, everyone, for sharing.
So can I ask my selfish questions, which is, well, I'm giving a workshop that I don't know that much about on Saturday at Bow, about ways people can save money on their electricity. And, I know all the little grandma ones, like turn off the lights as you leave the room. But since we don't have smart meters in New Hampshire, do electric rates change according to time of use?
No, I thought they didn't.
Not in New Hampshire, not as
Yeah,
far as I know.
I think I talked to at least for Eversource recently on that point, and they told me they didn't.
So no problem washing the dishes at 2 p.m. on a hot day. Doesn't make a difference,
Right.
except for peak, if you want to help get rid of peak, the
It-
peak factories.
well, unless you want to be public spirited
Yeah.
and but your bill isn't going to be affected. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if we get rid of some of the peaker plants, it might be. So thinking
Well,
long.
I just did a bad thing and I used AI and used a lot of electricity. Speaking of using electricity.
Yes.
And Google AI says that yes, electric rates can change based of time on day in New Hampshire. And it's offered by utilities like Unitil and Liberty Utilities, and customers can opt into those plans, which charge different prices for electricity depending on whether it's peak, mid-peak, or off-peak.
So you have to opt into that plan.
And you have to be with Unitil or
You have to be
Liberty.
with those
And that's
providers.
probably why I didn't think they did, because we're
Yeah.
not with either one of them.
Eversource doesn't, and it's one of the leading providers. Yeah.
That's Unitil and who else? I'm sorry.
Liberty.
Liberty. Okay. And then my second question, we don't still have Melissa on here. I know that when there's a need for more power on those peak days, some people can buy into a program that they are allowed to pull power from your storage. And I didn't know what that's called, so I could learn more about that to explain it. Any of you know about that? I've learned I've heard about it at the LDS conference several times, but I didn't take notes, and now I don't know.
I can give you the email of two people. I can email you the emails of two people who would probably be able to answer that because they're much more into what's going on in ISO as part of the No Coal, No Gas campaign. I
Okay.
do not know the answer to that.
Okay, the PUC welcome I see from Ken. Thank you. Okay, and so Mary Beth, you'll just send those to me later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Just
here, I can
wonder.
put them in the chat anyway. I'll just put them in the chat.
And you get
Okay.
money back for it, so it's a good deal if you. So in fact, Meredith, that's something that you could let people know about if we know about it. That if you have a good storage system, you can sign up to have the grid pull energy from your storage, whether it's your electric vehicle itself or a battery, when there's a peak day. And for participating, you get money back.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Tesla has power walls, and that may be able to be tied in.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so I'm probably going to take off then, Mary Beth, because I've got to create my PowerPoint for.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Anything else for anybody?
I want to say I'm just here really to learn. So, uh,
Yeah,
to,
today's kind of a slim day insofar as we didn't have any particular topics, and sometimes those are the best meetings because we each just kind of talk about what's at the top of our minds. Um,
Well, the other issue that's now out there that seems to be gathering some traction is the one on New Hampshire legislature voting on approving the non-regulation of plug-in solar. I'm sure a number of you saw that, right? It's the plug-in solar are the smaller portable solar arrays or panels that anybody can put up. You don't need to have it mounted on your roof, and they're ideal for like people that are renting their homes or whatever. And they are quite the technology has gotten quite effective, and that's now before it attracted attention apparently of New Hampshire legislature later to approve this to get rid of the regulations around it so that it's much easier for people to purchase these and put them into place. So that's another topic. Uh,
yeah, if you mean to learn more about them, like if we could find somebody who could help tell us more about them, and is it a statewide legislation that has to happen, or can towns approve
yeah,
anything?
that's a great question, Mary Beth. I think it's a state issue. Uh, the state has the authority to make the rules around that. Uh, my based on what I've briefly read online and from other sources right now, that's the deal. But it'd be great to have someone who's an expert in this area to fill in the details here.
Is this the first time ever we have not had people from Clean Energy New Hampshire on the call? This might be, because usually they are the kind of people who have the answers there. But I could write to our friend Sarah, who usually comes to every single one, and see if there's anybody at Clean Energy New Hampshire who might be interested in coming and giving a talk about that.
Wonderful. That'd be really great.
Okay. Um, so last month we talked about window dressers, which is a very different kind of thing, right? It's saving energy by doing these relatively inexpensive, low-tech storm window kind of things. Um, and I was pretty interested in it, but I sort of feel like I'm kind of stuck because you need a certain number of projects or a certain number of homes or buildings for the window dressers to come and do it. And so I haven't, and maybe it's just because of the way Merrimack is, right? We don't have a town newsletter, stuff like that. So I haven't really made much progress in getting people to sign up to see if we want to move ahead and do that. I'm just curious if anybody else heard last month's talk and has had any progress in doing a window dresser project.
I know it's very active in the New London area. There's a lot of people that are involved in it.
So I know Keen did one a few years back. I had like just joined the committee, and so I wasn't super involved with it. I know it was pretty successful here, and we actually got quite a few homes to participate. the feedback that I had gotten and why we haven't done it since was the people on the committee that were doing it. It was a really big time sink to go out and do the outreach and do the planning.
Yeah, that's exactly
So
why I feel stuck, I think.
yeah, I think there was like a few people working on it, and I think our um the chair of the committee dedicated like a lot of time to it. And then I think that's why we just haven't picked it up, is we just haven't had the resources to go back out and do it. Because the outreach was tough. Just getting people aware of what was going on. Mary, we were actually talking about maybe trying to do a similar program again in chat with the gentleman that had run it before for us to get a little bit more information from him about what it would take to try and do one again. So if I get a little bit more information from him in the next, month or so, I'd be happy to forward that over to you and just see
That
what
would be
insight
great.
that they had.
Can I ask what does it involve again? The window dressing, is it on the inside of the house or the
Yes,
outside?
it's on the inside. These are inserts that go on the inside. And I'll put the URL for the window dressers in the chat just in case you want to read more. Oh, this is the window dressers. All right. So my understanding is, right, personal solar, we've basically hit the deadline. It's at the end of the year, but if you have a project that's municipal or something like a church, the deadline is 2 years from now where we still get the 30% discount. Is anybody still trying to work on any municipal or church, or you are? Okay, great.
Yeah, we are in Sandwich, and yeah, it's still a little confusing to me how that works, the 30%, because we're trying to we hate to rush through projects because then you don't know if you're going to pass at town meeting or not. But we're trying to do a solar array at the library. There's 1,000 ins and outs and opinions and everything else. But if we can get it through, we would have to wait until March to get approved at town meeting, and then it would be built in the summer. The one we did last year will probably be online in about 2 weeks, so it takes till the end of the year to get it done. So I think we would still qualify. That's what we're thinking as an energy committee, that we would still qualify for the 30% if we got it approved and started building next summer. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to break ground or you have to sink 5% of the cost up front
By when?
by, I think it's July 2026.
Okay.
Please don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Double check your facts, but I believe you have that, and then you have to have it done by December of 2027. You have to have the project done.
Yeah.
Is it July? I know. So we just actually approved our city manager to go after purchasing a pretty big array, $14 million project at our airport. And when we had the people before our finance committee, they were saying that we had to have the 5% in by the end of the year based on an adjustment that happened during the Fed budget cycle I think it was in the BBB. I thought they had actually moved that up and shortened the time frame to December. I could be wrong. It might be different for different levels of whether it's municipality or if it's private. I'm not sure, but that's the information we had been given, was that it got moved all the way up to the end of the year, and we fast tracked it because of that, to make sure we had enough time to get the procurement in with the supplier. So again, don't quote me on that either. But that was the understanding that I had, was that it actually got adjusted.
Well,
Those are the reasons I'm confused.
Yeah.
For municipal projects, there was an article in, gosh, I one of our members is an attorney in environmental law, and he wrote an article that was just published here on this topic. Let me see if I can get it up and double check, because he did a deep dive into the rules on that. So just
And
take me a
Clean
minute.
Energy New Hampshire also has that spreadsheet, and I didn't find that very clear either. I was having trouble really getting some hard deadlines on things. So, I mean, to do a $14 million project and not know what's what, that's pretty confusing too. Ours is only 100,000.
Yeah, here it is. It's an article that was published in the it's called the OBB Clean Energy. What's the name of the New Hampshire Bar News on September 17th, 2025. It's a long article, but it did do a deep dive. I just have a PDF of the article. I don't have a link to the Bar News here. Well, I could give you the citation. Or okay. I mean, I could read it quickly and give you a synopsis if you guys are interested. Okay.
Okay with me if others want to hear it. We still have half an hour in the meeting.
Okay, so there was newly issued guidance by the Internal Revenue Service and the Department of the Treasury that makes more stringent requirements for beginning of construction for new solar and wind projects under IRS Code 48E and Section 445Y. The guidance follows an executive order issued by the Trump administration on July 7th, 2025, that directed the Department of the Treasury to revisit the beginning of construction rules that were set forth under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. To, among other things, restrict the use of broad safe harbors unless a substantial portion of a subject facility has been built. Under the existing IRS guidance, a taxpayer could begin construction by commencing physical work of a significant nature on the project. That's called this physical work test, or by incurring 5% of the cost of equipment for the project. That's the 5% safe harbor. With the exception of low output solar facilities, that is, those that have a maximum net output no greater than 1.5 megawatts, the new guidance removes the 5% safe harbor. Okay, limiting developers to the physical work test to meet the start of construction requirements for ITC and PTC eligibility. Under a continuing requirement, developers must also maintain a continuous construction program once construction commences. So that means they've got to document that they were, continuing to work. They didn't just, break ground and then split for a while, So in addition to narrowing the window to qualify for tax credits, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act requires that all solar and wind projects that commence construction after December 31st, 2025 meet strict new foreign ownership and material sourcing requirements as well. So you can't use solar panels from certain countries. So the start date for construction, therefore, is a critical factor in determining a project's eligibility for tax credits. And the extent to which the projects must meet burdensome new foreign entity of concern requirements. Importantly, a developer will be subject to recapture of 100% of the ITC claimed if within 10 years after the subject project is placed in service, it engages in a transaction that would be deemed to give a foreign entity of concern effective control of the project. Any new project after 2025 should rigorously ensure that neither ownership nor supply chains involve prohibitive foreign entities. With respect to municipal entities, that's cities, towns, public schools, water, sewer districts, and other tax-exempt entities, the One Big Beautiful Bill left the direct pay option available. Okay. So you can still do that 5% down thing, but constrained its timing. To qualify, municipal entities must begin construction by July 4th, 2026, and projects must be placed in service by December 31st, 2027. Municipal entities or any direct pay recipient should proceed carefully because disallowed credits can trigger a 20% excessive payment penalty in addition to recapturing the disallowed amount. So that's pretty you know quite a penalty. Overall, following the One Big Beautiful Bill Act across market segments, the combination of requirements to begin construction by July 4th, 2026, and be placed in service by December 31st, 2027, is a key gating item for many projects. Build schedules, EPC contracts, and procurement should be evaluated in terms of those deadlines to benefit from tax credit eligibility. So that's from the legal expert here in the state of New Hampshire. I can just I believe the New Hampshire Bar News is free. It's at www. I'll put it in the chat. Command C. It was it's a lot to summarize and it's very dense. So I'm sure that it was hard for people to follow. So let me just pop it in the chat.
I just put the link for the Clean Energy New Hampshire spreadsheet, and I think it will bring you right to the correct page. Yeah, it does, because at the bottom of the page, there's a different categories, grants and incentives, tax credits. It's under the tax credits, and it's about that 48E tax credit rebate
Yep.
and clean energy production credit 45Y, and it's in green. And that gives you a little bit more too. It does talk about 5% project funds at the near the bottom,
Yep.
but it's still, yeah.
The article might help give a little more flesh
Yeah.
on the bones here for you,
Yeah.
Catherine.
Yeah. Okay, so your link comes to what looks like a face page, New Hampshire Bar portal. Where in this
If you
do
want
we
to go ahead and share, Catherine, sharing's turned on for anybody. If you want to share the screen.
Well, I'm just doing her link to the New Hampshire Bar Association.
okay.
This brings me to a face page. So where do I go from there? I'm asking.
Does it have their newspaper? Is there a tab or something or something? I just have the whole article. So he just sent us the article that he had
Well,
written.
your link brings us just to the Bar Association
Yeah.
portal.
So if you look on the portal, does it have the news, the New Hampshire Bar News, in any place? And then you'd look for the September 17th edition.
Bar News, okay.
And then Vigo Fish, Viggo Fish was the author. He's the attorney. So
Okay.
hopefully, I can't imagine that they don't make it publicly accessible, but maybe.
No, I can get to it, but
Okay,
I thought the link would bring us right to the article.
great. I'm sorry. He didn't provide that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, it's going to take forever for the paper to load, so I really won't be able to check it till, what's the name of the person that wrote it?
It's in the chat, but his name is Vigo, Viggo, and his last name is Fish, Fish. So it's a pretty distinctive name. So,
Yeah, easy to remember.
yep.
Okay.
Thanks,
All
Mary.
right.
I'm going to have
Okay.
to.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine. Thank you, Meredith. Just because it's scheduled for an hour doesn't mean we have to meet for an hour. If we run out of topics, go get a cup of tea. Anybody have anything else? Well, thank you all for your time then, and I will send out the recording and the AI minutes when they come through. All right,
Thank
have a
you.
nice day, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.